Hello, and welcome to the Megan Taylor Creative Podcast, a show for entrepreneurs looking to grow their business with digital marketing. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you the best digital marketing strategies for growth and my digital marketing roadmap that you can use to start growing your business. Let's get started. So, this episode is going to be a bit of a throwback to the early days of the podcast, and we're going to go back to the basics a little bit and look at digital marketing for beginners. Specifically, I wanted to share with you the best digital marketing strategies for growth, at least the best strategies that I have found that have actually worked for my business, because I find that it's very easy to just do marketing for sake of marketing, because we all get told when we first start a small business that we need to market ourselves, and this can actually be problematic because you get the impression that if you just start marketing yourself then you will see results, when in reality marketing is a lot more strategic than that. It's a lot more targeted than that, and you need to have thought it out beforehand. You need to have actually thought about how everything works together. So I find that having a roadmap, especially in the early days, really takes a lot of the guesswork out of marketing and gives you the confidence that you need to know that what you're doing is actually going to have the impact that you want it to have in terms of business growth. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm really happy to be doing this podcast this week because last week I wasn't feeling that great. I'm still recovering a little bit, but I actually feel good. I have energy and my throat is just so much better. I'm definitely still coughing a little bit, but everything else is cleared up. So I'm really happy to just sit down and talk about marketing with you. So yeah, now that the introduction is out of the way, let's just get straight into the strategies. The first strategy that I wanted to share with you is lead generation and creating a lead generation campaign. Now, there are lots of different ways that you can create a lead gen campaign, but I find that the best way to do it is to focus on cross-channel marketing, because this will increase your reach and it will essentially put your product in front of as many people as possible, which is crucial in the early days. I think whilst there's something to be said about the fact that there's not always strength in numbers, in the early days there definitely is, and the more people that can see what it is you have to offer, the more people who you can put your brand in front of, the better off you're going to be. So putting in the time to creating a well thought out cross-channel marketing campaign ensures that you're going to have a wider pool, a bigger audience, and the bigger the audience, the more people you're likely to capture. Now obviously we know that just because you capture and generate leads doesn't mean that all those leads that you do capture are going to be paying customers in the end of it, but just ensuring that you always have like a pipeline of leads is really crucial to business growth. It's something that I'm still trying to work on and still get used to, and I felt a little bit disappointed in the last half of the year. The year kind of kicked off in a really good way. I found that my business was getting a lot of traction, and then as we got into October and November, it's tapered off a little bit, and I still have some long-standing clients and things like that, but I obviously want to grow more because I think all businesses, they want to grow more. So over the next month and December as well, I'm going to be focusing 100% on lead generation and ramping up my content marketing efforts to try and increase my brand awareness as much as possible, and that is what you should be prioritizing in my opinion in the beginning. And it's difficult because once you've actually got those leads, you do actually need to nurture them, but we're going to talk about the strategies that you can use to ensure that not only you're inquiring leads, but you're also nurturing them and actually closing the deals as well. So we will look at that later. So my next digital marketing strategy that's amazing for business growth and corresponds with what we were just talking about with the lead generation campaign is to create a targeted offer and corresponding landing page. Now, landing pages, I feel like we've spoken about this on the podcast before, but there's a lot of different definitions floating around of what a landing page is. But to me, a landing page, it's not necessarily a sales page. It's a step before that. It's the first step of the sales funnel. It's the first first touch point that most customers will have with you. Obviously, you can use things like organic social media to promote and raise awareness, but your landing page, if someone actually arrives on it, they are probably quite interested in what it is that you have to offer. So make sure that your landing page is very focused, make sure that the copy really highlights the benefits, highlights what it is that your offer will give your audience. So it shouldn't be about you and why you're so great. And I think that's what a lot of small business owners struggle with in terms of like the balance and in terms of actually making sure that they're getting the conversions. If you're not getting conversions, chances are the messaging isn't right, and you need to take a look at that. And with a landing page that's specifically for lead generation and lead generation campaign, it needs to be on point. There needs to be no question, no room for the audience to question your ability to deliver, or whether you actually know what you're talking about, or whether the offer is going to do what you're saying it's going to do. It needs to be very strong, and the copy is probably the most important thing here. And with that, it's a really good idea, in my personal opinion, to actually hire a copywriter if you've never written a landing page before, because it is a very specific skill, and it's something that's going to be so quintessential to your business growth that if you don't get it right, it could be very devastating and very time consuming to try and continue to fix that messaging. And what I found is small business owners who actually reach out to copywriters, they've gotten to that point where they're just so frustrated with their messaging that they feel like they've got no other option. But if you'd have just resigned to the fact that a copywriter will know what to do, and they will know how to structure everything, and they will know exactly how to structure the copy around the design as well, because design is another very important aspect too, then you may have seen business growth a lot earlier. And that investment is obviously more worth it, because you didn't have that period of stagnated growth where nothing was really happening because your landing page and your offer weren't great. And the thing about offers as well is that it's not enough to kind of say, you know, okay, I've got an ebook, I've got a course, and it's free. That's not enough. You need to make sure that you have some kind of really engaging hook that addresses the audience's pain points and also promises a solution. And you'll notice that a lot with like my podcast titles and with my blog post titles as well. There's always something that I'm promising. So yeah, make sure that you have all those components. And if you have all those components together and a form to capture those leads, then you will see those leads come in. And that's when we start looking at the next digital marketing strategy for growth. So now that you've actually started to generate some leads, let's look at the best way that you can nurture those leads. And the best way by far I found, and you all probably know what I'm going to say, but it's through email marketing. And email marketing essentially allows you to get very close with your leads, and it allows you to really build a strong relationship with them that you wouldn't get elsewhere. Hopefully you'll get to the point where a lot of these people that you built up on your list will become paying customers, and over time they'll become loyal customers, ready to buy customers, so that every time you launch something, you've essentially got guaranteed sales that you can rely on because you built up such a strong email list. And email marketing is something that I personally find really fun, but it's something that I'm not very good at doing with my own business, and I've been really trying to fix that. And I've tested a lot of different email marketing softwares that I personally feel like are really good for small businesses. And I would say that the one that I really like, I would say there's two. ConvertKit is fantastic if you've got the budget to pay for something. It's in like the low end. I think it's about like $10 to $12 a month for the lowest option. But with that, you get things like sequences and templates, and you can build landing pages with forms if you want to make sure that everything is like synced up completely to your email. But I personally have recently discovered Sendinblue, and it's something that I think is a little bit more advanced. So I do think that you have to have some kind of email marketing experience prior to that, but actually it's not that difficult to use, and I find it's a lot more advanced than a lot of the other email providers out there, especially when it comes comes to their free plan. A lot of the more advanced features on other email marketing providers, you will have to pay for those, especially when it comes to automation. And with Sendinblue, you don't have to do that. So I found that amazing. And obviously with the cost of living crisis and stuff like that, being able to cut your expenses as much as possible is ideal. So that was really great to know that I could find a provider that does what I want it to do, and also offer things like comprehensive analytics and things like that, and regular data reports. So if that's something that you're really interested in automation and setting up some workflows to ensure that you're always doing some base level of email marketing, I'd highly recommend Sendinblue. In terms of what email marketing actually works to nurture your leads, welcome sequences do a wonderful job if they're done right. They're actually one of my favorite client projects to work on. So if any of you do need a welcome sequence, I would be happy to help you with that and talk you through that and my approach. I find that welcome sequences are a great way to introduce yourself to the audience and allow you to create a community very early on. And email marketing, you can do some really interesting community building stuff. And if that's really important to you and you really want to focus on customer loyalty, which I think every business should, then that is the way to go. And the welcome sequence is essentially like the first impression, and it's the best way to make sure that your prospects are like, oh yeah, this brand looks really good and we're really interested in them. So in this episode so far, we've mainly talked about organic ways to grow your business and organic marketing strategies, but I wanted to take the time to talk about paid ads because I think that paid ads get a bad rap, and I think a lot of people still look at it in a way where it's almost like cheating, and any success that you get from paid ads isn't genuine. But the thing is, with paid ads, it's there to help you, and I think that you get what you put in it. So it doesn't necessarily matter what. By that, I don't mean that you need to have a big budget. I just mean that you need to understand how they work. And I think a lot of people that tackle paid advertisements, they actually don't understand how they work the first time they do it, and because of that, they get like a negative impression on paid advertisements, and then they kind of give up on it. But I think if you learn the tactics and the strategies that you can use to create a really high converting paid advertisement on a low budget, then that's going to really set your business up for success in the early days. And you are going to have a leg up on the competition because there are a lot of people who aren't willing to invest in paid ads. And I get it, it is an investment and it's a commitment and it's a gamble. You never know if something's going to work. But if you put the time in to set up your ad correctly, to think about the messaging and just think about how is this going to come across to your audience, is it really going to be compelling? Is it really going to make someone want to click on it? Then you will see the results. And I can pretty much guarantee that these paid advertisement platforms, they want you to see success because the more you spend, the more money they get. So it's beneficial to them that you succeed. But the only way that you can succeed is if you understand their platform. So this is where having a paid advertisement manager or PPC manager comes into play. Megan Taylor Creative, we offer paid advertisement plans for small businesses, which you can contact me about if you're looking to get invested in paid ads. It's £50 a month for running ads on 2 channels, which is great if you're not sure which channel to go on and you want to do a little bit of A/B testing and just see which platform works better for your business without having to spend a lot of money on someone to do your campaigns. And obviously you can discuss with us your budget. I would personally say that £500 is the best budget, but I know that a lot of small business owners don't want to spend that much on paid ads a month or on a lifetime campaign. So I think what a paid ads manager allows you to do is look at your situation and decipher the best budget and negotiate with you, and also reinstate the importance of paid ads and the investment that you're making so that you're confident that the money you're going to be spending is going to see the results. And to be honest, there have been times when, and this isn't necessarily for campaigns that I've been working on, but I've seen other people work on campaigns with clients, and the first campaign never really does well because the PPC manager normally goes, okay, I will let you decide, we'll test your messaging out. If it doesn't work, let's test our messaging out. And then then 9 times out of 10, the first campaign fails and then the second campaign works. So it's really important to bear that in mind. Just because you think you have something that you think might work, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in PPC terms. There's lots of things to think about that you might not necessarily be aware of. And obviously, a PPC manager's invested in making sure that you get the most out of your money and you're always seeing the return on investment. So I'd highly recommend doing that. So yeah, that's it. That's everything I have today. These obviously aren't all the marketing strategies that you can use to generate business growth. So I will be doing a blog post as well, so you can get a more detailed roadmap. And as always, if you liked this episode, please like the video on YouTube and subscribe to our channel so that you can be made aware every time a new episode is available. And as always, I will speak to you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.